Hey, here we are, Heads of States, starting the During Action Review, as I like to call them, DARs, in case you're wondering what those stand for. Alright, I like to play through a few actions, especially in a game like this, which is fairly simple and fairly fast-paced. The beginning of the game is a little different from anything else, as I pointed out, because you can only do the attribute option, and you're limited on the first draw, and you're limited to the number of cards you can draw. Now, every time I play, I run kind of counterclockwise when I play solo. Don't ask me why, it's just part of my OCD or whatever. Okay, so let's take a look at who could go. Well, Blue is going to be my first player because he's in that starting location and I like Blue. He's only going to get one card. What could he do with one card? There's only one ability which takes only one card, which is creating a Baron. Luckily for him, there's a gold. So he's going to draw a gold. Yeah, there's the last video finished. Discard it. And grab himself a Baron. Where does he want to be? Well, it's a hard call. You know, he's blue, he should be in blue. But what I'm thinking here is, since I have such a starting disadvantage, I'm going to aim for second place in a country as my initial placement. So I want my Baron to be here in Germany. It's one of the weakest locations on the board, I'd guess, but that gets me a victory point. Yay! How potent. Okay, that's my turn. I go to the next player, who's red. Now, this gets replenished at the end of Blue's turn. Red can't do the same thing. Red can only draw one card. There's a courtesan available, and that's very interesting, and I think Red is going to pick that up. But they can't create a noble. Now, I had something I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it is. Alright, well, let's look at the next player, because I don't want to leave big, uncomfortable, empty silence for too long. Okay, so the next player has 2-card draw, and for 2 cards, if I could find a gold and a bishop, I would be okay. Well, that doesn't exist there. So now it's time to start looking at, well, what are cool cards to have? There's a lot of skills available. I think I'm going to go with a title and troops. And that gives me a heart. Oh, I know what I was going to say. You can only hold 10 cards total at the end of your turn. Now we got a lot of troops available. Yellow also gets 2-card draw. There's still no gold, no bishop, so nothing can really be improved there. There's a castle. There's a castle, and then there's palaces. They're different, so that must be a palace. I'm going to go with science and a palace and draw them. And now we have one last. And now we have a courtesan again. And the black player gets 3 cards. And from now on, the turns will go as normal. With 3 cards, what is valuable? Well, now remember, these people could be drawing from here. And maybe I'm being silly by only taking the face-up cards. Maybe taking a shot at getting a noble would be worthwhile. Definitely want the courtesan. That seems worthwhile. I'm going to draw a face-down card and not show anybody. And what is this, a title? Yeah. I'm going to create something off the bat. I'm going to create courtesan troops title will get me. Get the troops title. All I needed was a castle. I can take an earl. Oh, you know what I forgot to give? I forgot to give a baron over here to him. He needs those for the end of the game as well as otherwise. Okay, so this guy's going to create an earl. He gets that over there. And, well, what's the most valuable earl he can create? They look like they're 3s. Huh? They're this kind of yellowish color. There's one for 4. We're going to Britain. And he's got points now. Alright. One thing about wooden blocks, etc., I still find chits so much more effective, efficient. I mean, I bumped the table. This is going to fall over so much faster than 3 chits would, right? Okay. Let me take a little break, and then we'll be coming back, and I'll do another full round around, I think. Maybe not. There may not be much to see with this. I'll think about it. Okay, so I decided not to play everything out. I think better when I'm not on camera. And it is very fast-paced, very much, hey, make this decision, make this decision, make this decision. Just what do you pull from the deck, what do you not pull from the... You know, do you take a draw? Now what can you do? Alright, so what happened? Blue ended up expanding more into Germany, taking, I don't know, whatever those are, account, increasing their points. Red, trying to see where they went. I've got them sitting on account, but I think they had that before over in France. I'm not sure. I guess... Oh no, they only had a single card, so that couldn't be the case. So they went into France with account. Green kicked things off by being the first entrance into Spain. Now they could have taken the French earldom there for the same amount of points. But what's cool about Spain is this is a dominant position, so they have more influence towards getting the country, the country values over here. And they just saw that as a valuable thing. We're not seeing any treachery being played because people are just starting out their noble houses. There's no real fighting here. If you expend effort to knock someone else down to replace them, and you must replace all but one, and you can replace that one, of the leaders that you kill. So, anyway, there's a lot of open spaces. There's no real reason to fight against people for them. You'd be bringing yourself down with them. Yellow, what did they do? Yellow has been collecting a hand. They're looking at one of the bigger cards here. And they got this mainly from drawing from the deck and getting things like Palace. They're looking at getting one of the bigger players, the Duke or Prince or even King, to try and just score a lot of points right from the start, but maybe look a little weaker for a little while. I don't know. Because it's harder to get those positions, I think. Black ended up picking up another Earl. They had their first one over in Britain. They grabbed one where? Over here in France. Less points, but again, they're points for having the most Earls at the end of the game ever created, so they kind of think that's cool. Alright, I'll go and do another turn, maybe come back right after that, I don't know. Okay, once more around the table, and we're seeing some bigger things showing up. So, Blue, who's been kind of taking things at opportunity, managed to get a marquee. Here, grabbing more points. He's just all about getting those early points right now. Red had to pass. He's got his 2 counts, but he didn't have anything he could build right away. Green managed to fire off a big one at Duke. Now, let me see where. I think that's here. I think he played it in Spain? Is that right? Oh, that's his Earl. Where's his Duke? Yeah, also in Spain. Yeah, he wanted to work on his Spanish advantage. Since he's already got that, he's going to try to solidify his position there. The card deck isn't moving all that fast, but it's moving fast enough that a couple of early pieces there does seem to show some strength. I like the way it flows for that. As a game, it's got a good feel for you know, it looks like you can build up your points for the next phase fairly nicely. It's not like whatever you play initially is just almost unimportant, which was one of my fears. Yellow managed to get that big one off. He fired off a prince. He had a shot drawing cards to get to the king, but he missed by, I don't remember what it was. He had like 2 cards missing from it. He was missing, I think, well, yeah, he was missing Golden Castle, and he didn't draw anything that helped with either of those. It's a pity. But he pulled himself a prince, and we'll see where he did that in Germany. Again, with that second place thought in mind. He's behind no matter where he walks in, even if he's walking in with something as big as a prince that's 4 points of effort. Isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he could have made a play for France. There's no question. But this is worth 7. This is worth 5. Grab the early points. It's not that, you know, it may allow him to get second here and concentrate somewhere else and get second somewhere else as well. So it's that kind of decision making rather than fight all out for France, which is clearly very, very valuable. And finally to black, I believe he had to hold. Doesn't look like he created anything from his cards at least, but he ended up pulling, I thought he did. See, this is what's going to be hard, is keeping track. If you screw up, it's going to be very hard to replenish. Like if I didn't take a card here, I may not remember that ever. Okay, I don't think he, and now he would have gotten one of these. So he's got a handful of cards. One thing he did do though was he pulled one of the cards from here, and that brings a Kurditsin up, which is a bonus for the next player to have that sitting there. All right, I'm going to send this one up because I think I've shown some detail of what's going on at the beginning of the game. This die here, it's only used, I'm going to use it for the conflicts, but I'm also using it to mark whose turn it is. Okay.